Well, good evening or good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this program. And welcome to another episode of the Northern Berkshire Retirees Club. I, of course, am Paul W. Marino, and my guest today is Roger J. Urban. I'm tempted to say the one but not only, but I'll restrain myself this once.
Well, I'm not the only.
That's right, you're not the only.
There are three of us.
The one but far from only Roger J. Urban. Happy now?
The eldest. Thank you.
Very good. So, we of course represent the Northern Berkshire Retirees Club. In strict terms, it's the Northern Berkshire and Southern Vermont Retirees Club. So, if you live in Adams, North Adams, Clarksburg, Williamstown, Cheshire, Florida, Savoy, Reedsboro, Stamford, or Pownell, Vermont, you are welcome to come and join us. We meet the first Thursday of each month at 10 a.m. at the Spitzer Center here in North Adams. And if you'd like information about the club, please call 413-652-0590. And one of our friendly members will give you all the information you want. Also, if you do not have to be a man to join our club, we are looking for women members as well. So if you are male or female of retirement age, that is, you don't have to be completely retired yet, but mid-60s and up, feel free to come to a meeting. And if you like what you see at the meeting, fine, then look into becoming a member. The dues are very reasonable. I believe they are now $18 a year. Does that sound right?
It does?
Yes, $18 a year. We have our regular monthly meetings where we generally have a speaker. And we have a holiday dinner every year, rather a holiday luncheon. We have a spring luncheon, which is actually coming up. And we have a picnic in the summer. And your dues help to pay for all of those things. So, Roger, now you've been a member for how many years?
Since the beginning.
Since the beginning. So why don't you tell us something about how you got involved?
Well,
and what keeps you involved?
how I got involved, I was talking with a couple of friends who are still in the club, and they were mentioning that they would like to form a group of retirees into a semi-formal or informal group. Pardon me. So we did, and I can't remember how long ago that was, but we've been in a group since I would say at least 5 or 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're open to both men and women, and we have both men and women in the group. It's a good bunch of people, and I think you would enjoy the activities. So that's about what I can say about it.
Mm-hmm.
We do certain charity work sometimes, and I believe, how often do we meet? Once a
Once a month.
Once a month. I can't remember the exact day, but
It's the first Thursday of the month
thank you.
at 10 a.m.
And if you didn't get that because of my cough, first Thursday of the month, 10 a.m. at
the Mary Spitzer Center
There we go.
here in North Adams.
Right. Oh, and it's up on the screen. How nice.
Yes.
Except for the time. That's good.
Yes, the time is there, 10 a.m.
Oh, where?
right after the
Oh,
word
right after
Thursday.
Thursday, okay. I'm not wearing my glasses, I should, huh? But I forgot them at home, so that's life. That's what happens when you get older, folks.
Well, I've been involved for a couple of years. I was originally brought in as a speaker, and I think I talked about famous visitors to North Adams. And then I was encouraged to join myself, so I did, and I've enjoyed it. It's a fun bunch of people. Something we like to have at the end of every show is, at the end of every meeting is a joke. So there's usually one or more jokes that people contribute. The only rule is they do have to be clean jokes.
And we are open to men and women, by the way. If we haven't mentioned it before, we'll do it again. And we welcome all new members. The dues are reasonable.
$18 a year.
18 a year. And we do have other functions. We have a dinner for Christmas,
A dinner for
and a
spring,
spring dinner.
and a picnic in the summer.
Yes, indeed. So it's a good group, and it's people of retirement age. Maybe they're not quite retired yet, but of retirement age, you're welcome to join. And I think you'll enjoy yourselves. And then, again, I'll say open to men and women.
Absolutely. So, that leaves us, oh my goodness, we're not even halfway done yet.
All right?
So, what shall we talk about, Roger?
Well, I think we can talk a little bit about what we've done in the past and what some of the ideas might be for the future of our organization. In the past, when we started off, we had our regular meetings, we had a dinner and a luncheon, and that was pretty much it. And as we grew, we've expanded out to some other ideas, and like a picnic, for example, and things of that sort. And basically, it's a good place to meet other retirees, people who might share the same interests as you do, and or if you're bringing something brand new into our group, that would be wonderful too. And again, I mentioned it's open to both men and women of retirement age. Now, do you have to be retired? The answer to me is no. You have to be of retirement age. Okay?
So, old enough to retire.
Yes.
Or nearly old enough to retire.
Yes. So that's the only criteria we have.
Yeah, and as I've said before, it's a fun bunch of people. And
And a few old grouches.
on occasion, yes, like me.
No, he's all right. We had to rein him in every now and then, but he's all right.
Yes. Yeah, that's why they keep a noose around my neck.
And we do try to have a speaker to talk about North Adams and various other subjects. And it's usually quite an interesting part of our meeting.
And sometimes the speaker is a member of the club. I remember one meeting, I don't think we had a speaker, and one of the members had brought in models of ships that he had served on in the war, and he showed off his collection, and everyone had a grand old time looking at them.
It's an eclectic group. If you have other interests, we welcome our own group to talk about them. You know, if you have a certain hobby that you think might be interesting to others, we welcome that. It's a good group. It's an easygoing group. There's nothing totally formal about it whatsoever, other than keeping decorum so people can have their time in the sun, so to speak. I have been graced in the past to be president of the organization, and I found it to be a significant part of being a retiree. So I think if you're interested, come down and sit in on a meeting. You might be surprised, you might be willing to join.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what the dues are these days, but they're reasonable.
$18.
$18 a year. A year. But it's a nice organization. And like I said, we do have a couple of special things that go on. We do have a Christmas luncheon or dinner or whatever you want to call it. And
A spring dinner.
and a spring one as well. And
And the picnic in August.
yep, usually a picnic. And doesn't matter male or female. We welcome all members of retirement age. And I think you'll enjoy it if you come in and sit down in a meeting. And
Yes,
see
absolutely.
See if it interests you to stay.
Yes, and every meeting we chip in a few bucks. I think it's $3 now. And there are a couple of drawings for cash winnings and one or two drawings for
Lottery tickets.
lottery tickets.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy that sort of thing, you will love coming to one of our meetings.
And I think you'll find it interesting. The group in itself is an interesting bunch of people. And I use the word interesting again. They have various interests, and we allow them to maybe come in and do a talk about a hobby or something of that sort. And it's a good time was had by all. And we do have the social functions, as Paul mentioned, and just a good bunch of people. Yep. And they're not all.
Except for us.
Yeah, we're the others. No, we're good too. Anyhow, I was with the group at its founding, and have been with them ever since. And it's just a nice organization. It's pleasant. We do bring in speakers, so you might learn something, or something of interest might tickle your fancy. So if you want to, just come by and sit in on the meeting and see if it's your cup of tea, so to speak.
Yes, absolutely. Now, recently, that is within the past few months, one of our members used to volunteer with Berkshire Scenic Rail.
Right.
And I believe he did a presentation on that. And of course, if you want to know about the Berkshire Scenic Rail, we'll be happy to introduce you to him. And he can tell you probably more than you really want to know.
Yeah, it's a great bunch, and the people involved have varied interests. You know, it's not only one. How do I want to say it? One group towards a specific outcome or a specific goal. We dabble in just about everything, and we do give we do our charity bit. We've given out a scholarship each year. It's not a huge one, but it's what the club can afford, and I think it'd be well worth your time to come and sit in on a meeting.
Absolutely. A lot of our members, I would not want to guess what percentage, but a lot of our members are veterans.
Yes.
I know at least one was a nurse.
Yeah. And
And then there's me. I'm a local historian. So if you're interested in local history, you can come and pick my brain.
yes, what's left of it? Sorry, Paul.
Yeah.
He's a veritable fountain of knowledge about local history, believe me.
Yes, I know more about local history than anyone else in the world would want to know.
Probably, or do know. But the group in total is a divergent group as far as what they do and what they bring to the club. I think you'll find it very interesting. Come in, please. Come in and attend one meeting. If you don't like it, fine. No harm, no foul. And if you do like it, it's reasonable. Where else can you spend
$18.
$18 and meet with a great bunch of people and attend our social events?
Very true.
Yeah.
Now, I believe.
I am one of the founding members, by the way.
Yes. Last month, I was here with our president, Al, and Al, what's his last name?
Yes.
Yes, Al, yes. And we were talking about local history. I think we were talking about the floods and such. Now, you were in town when some of the flooding was going on, weren't you?
I didn't live in North Adams at the time. I grew up, I lived in North Adams till I was in the 3rd grade, and then my folks bought a home in Adams, and I grew up in Adams.
Yeah, but Adams has the flood protection chutes as well.
Oh, yeah, and Adams was badly flooded as well. And so I remember when they were being built, I lived up on Pearl Street, and if you go to the end of Pearl Street, there's a depression with the railroad tracks, and if you follow that down, you come to the flood chutes. And yeah, Adams was hit as well.
Now, whereabouts in Adams is Pearl Street?
If you go up Commercial Street, which is off of the main drag, off the main street of Adams, and go towards Pittsfield or Cheshire, Pearl Street is right at the top of the first hill you come to. And it was a great place to grow up. There was a grammar school just maybe 2 or 3 blocks away, which is no longer there. And Adams had a different school system than North Adams in the fact that they had a junior high school. And I thought that was just wonderful to be a junior high school student. And then, of course, Adams High, and that whole thing I don't think has changed. I think they still do have a junior high system. I'm not sure.
Yes, they do, but it's in the high school.
Yeah, I don't mean the location. I mean the system itself, you know. If you were a person, male or female, that enjoyed sports, they had a variety of sports. But their claim to fame, for the most part, was basketball. They had state championships, I don't know how many, but a number of them. And, of course, the great rival was Drury. And that was primarily football and, to some degree, baseball. But I played football and baseball in high school, so was exposed to both areas. Great place to grow up, Adams. It really was. Wonderful library. Many.
Whose cornerstone was laid by the President of the United States.
William McKinley. And a statue of Mr. McKinley is the statue that you see when you go through Adams.
Yes, it was probably the first monument erected in his memory. And the reason it was built when it was 1905, it was paid for largely with Plunkett money.
The Plunketts were an extraordinarily wealthy family that dominated Adams and its development for a number of years. And, you know, they were a driving force behind the development and growth of the town. Like I said, it was a great place to grow up. We had a
Now,
good school
did they
system.
take you up in the library and show you Memorial Hall?
Yes. Oh yeah, we frequented the library a lot. A lot. And
Yeah, but I mean as
Yes.
a school child.
No. As a junior high school student, yes, but not as a class. They were individuals. And luckily, one of my best friends, a relative of his, worked in the library, so we were able to see and do a lot of things there that people of our age couldn't. And we had to run through the youth section of the library as far as reading materials. So we were allowed to take out books in the adult section. And by that I don't mean dirty books in the adult section, adult literature. So it was a good experience. Adams was a great town to grow up in, and I'm not taking anything away from, the other areas. We had students from Adams and Cheshire and Savoy in junior high and high school, and like I said, it was just a good place to grow up. It was at the time, and I hope still is, a very safe place to grow up.
Yeah, I think on the whole it is.
Yeah. And we had a volunteer fire department. I believe it's still volunteer. I could be wrong.
The Adams Alerts.
Yeah. And of course, they have their own police department. And the other thing they had there was the armory. They had a unit there from the National Guard, and they held a number of functions there every year, and it was an interesting place to go into. And I don't know, as a teenager, I enjoyed Adams a lot. Of course, I was dating a girl from North Adams, which was unheard of, and got me to be shunned by a number of the young ladies in the high school I went to. But that was okay. And we went our separate ways when I went into the service, and lo and behold, a number of years later, got back together again. And we were together until she recently passed away. So this area has just been a wonderful area for me. My mom and dad both grew up in the area, so it's home.
Yeah.
I've lived in other places. I've lived in Pennsylvania. I've lived in California,
and Texas.
And Texas. Texas was also great. We lived a little bit outside of San Antonio, and that's why I started my civilian business career, and enjoyed every bit of it. Texas is a wonderful place, but as they say, there's no place like home. And we both gravitated back. The main reason for us coming back is we both had family here, and that was about it. There was nothing spectacular about the area that brought us here, but we both liked it. We both enjoyed it, and we both grew up here. So it was a homecoming of sorts.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, it was. So still living in the area, I tried to get involved with some of the local things. I was a initial member of the Retirees Club, and for a period of time served as an officer in that club.
Yeah, I'm presently vice president.
And Paul is, yes. And he's in charge of vice presidency.
Yes. I like bringing vice to the meetings.
You're a sick puppy, you know that?
Yes, I am. It's part of
anyhow,
my charm.
I think that you really enjoy this group. And if you have any social inclinations whatsoever, I think you'll find the people there very interesting and a pretty diverse group as far as interests and ideas and backgrounds. It's a good bunch. And stay tuned for further developments.
Amen to that. We have about 3 minutes remaining.
We do. So once again, if you're interested in joining, come in and sit down on a meeting.
Yes.
You don't have to pay anything.
So again, if you are of retirement age and are either male or female, and you live in North Adams, Clarksburg, Cheshire, Williamstown, Florida, Savoy, Massachusetts, Reedsboro, Vermont, Stamford, Vermont, or Pownell, Vermont, you are welcome to come and sit in on one of our meetings and see if you would like to join. We meet the first Thursday of each month at 10 a.m. at the Mary Spitzer Center here in North Adams. And if you come, I think you will be, I think you will be very pleased with what you see. And if you are, you only have to chip in $18 a month, and you are welcome to come without paying anything else.
18 a month?
No, I'm sorry, $18 a year.
There we go.
That's right. You see, I'm not a total idiot, just very near.
Yeah, it's a good organization.
It's a wonderful organization.
I happen to have been one of the founding members, and it wasn't my idea, but I thought it was a good idea and gravitated towards it. So I think you'll enjoy yourselves. Just come to a meeting. It will cost you nothing, and we can promise you a cup of coffee and maybe a donut.
Amen.
So, and we usually try to bring in a speaker, by the way, and usually it's someone of local interest, or maybe one of the club members that has a certain proclivity towards
A hobby.
or an activity, such as we had one guy, as Paul mentioned, brought in a model airplane collection, part of it, that he is into. So it's kind of an eclectic group.
Yes. And we have less than a minute remaining.
Indeed.
So thank you, Roger, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
And thank you, Paul, for being here. You're welcome, Hand. That was my hand speaking. And thank you, Nicole, for directing. Thank you for watching. Yes, both of you. And we have about 20 seconds remaining, so I'm going to leave you with a joke. My wife has told me that she will leave me if I don't give up drink. Oh, I shall miss her.